Faithful, doesn't it feel good to wake up on a Victory Monday, turn on the television, and see all the praise going for the 49ers? I mean, you got every naysayer that didn't give the 49ers a shot to win in Philly, giving them all this praise. Brock this, CMC that, Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan should never be fired. Miss me with all that. I tell you what, slap that like button. The Niners destroyed Philly in Philly, and we gonna discuss it right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. What kind of dance you got going on for yourself right now, but I am super excited to be here on a Victory Monday after Wild Card Weekend because, you know, a lot of people wasn't giving the Niners a shot. They said that they were too injured, too banged up, too battered, too dysfunctional, too whatever. It was nothing positive. It was nothing positive. And the Niners went into Philadelphia, a hostile environment, and they got the job done. They got the job done. It wasn't pretty. It was gritty, but they got the job done. What's going on, faithful? It's your boy, Wayne Breezie. Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show on this Victory Monday. Make sure you guys like. Make sure you subscribe. Leave some comments in the live chat. Shout out to all the members of the Breezie Bunch crew. We're going to shout you out in a second. But you know, if you want to join that Breezie Bunch crew because you get all the good perks like the early show shout-outs and the shout-outs throughout the show, boom, click on that join button, all right? Make sure you do that. You can also support the channel. There's the Venmo, there's the PayPal, there's the Cash App, and shout out to all the listeners that listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts or wherever you listen to the Wayne Breezie Show. And thank you for making this show one of the top 49er podcasts in the year 2025. Round of applause to you guys. 100%. God dang, I'm excited. Man. All right. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy, right? And you can save on your total purchase. Go to www.residency.com. I'm sure they got a nice sale going on right now for you. You could save an extra $5 using that promo code. And you could check out the exclusive content on the Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The Wayne Breezie. This is where we host the live watch parties. Listen, when I'm not at a game, I'll be partying it up. Partying bullshit. Like, we'll be partying it up. And it was fun, man. It was fun being over there. It was tense. It was what the F are we doing? Oh my God, we're winning. Yeah, let's go. It was from 0 to 100 all game long. It's been like that since we started to watch parties over there. Shout out to all the members of the Patreon. I truly appreciate your support on the Patreon. I'm hoping this week to get the proper film that I need to break down my film. See, I usually get it a certain way, and it's for me to break down. Last week, I never got the film, so hopefully I get it this week. If you don't see the film breakdowns on there, trust me, it ain't my fault. But I just want y'all to know that I don't forget about film. It's just some weeks it's given to me and some weeks it's not. So it is what it is. But I do look forward to breaking down the film of this game. And a game where I thought Brock Purdy played relatively well, minus the mistake. So don't forget to check us out over there on the Patreon. We can get the exclusive content. All right, it's time for shout-outs, and we got Super Chat. So I tell you what, before I get to the shout-outs of the Breezie Bunch crew, let's start the show off with a Super Chat from my big bro, Ty Tanner, in the building. Victory Monday, prayers to Kittle, and big shout-out to Kendrick and D-Rob, players of the game. He's talking about Eric Kendricks, right? You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure it's Kendricks so that way people know what happened, because that defense was definitely doing its thing, and D-Rob stepped up big time offensively. Ty, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. Way to kick off the show, man. I love it. Definitely good on this Victory Monday. George Kittle, we're going to talk about his injury in a second. It sucks for the Niners to lose another all-pro, Pro Bowl comrade. It sucks to lose anybody, but, that really hurts. It really hurts big time. You know what I'm saying? Boats in the building. Let's go. Don't bother me with the hashtag #BBNinerFaithful. Also a moderator of the channel. Happy Victory Monday. The 49er team has a lot of heart, and it showed yesterday. We're going to talk about heart because my word for the Niners has been all season. And if you watch any of these shows or any show that I'm featured on, I talk about the resilience. This team is very resilient. They're finding ways to overcome adversity every single week. You win some, you lose some, but the Niners are figuring things out as they go along. It's almost like they get this equation, right? And they come prepared for it, and then the variables change, and so now they got to change, and then the Niners get it right. CJ Gray, what's going on, bro? Went to the game in all black, froze my behind off, and watched the best game I've ever attended. I'm glad you enjoyed the game. I'm curious to know how the fans were out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a little different in Philadelphia, but it does be cold out in Philly. It's a different cold. Matthew, what up, faithful? Awesome win yesterday. Yeah, man. And then he said if you go back to the game day post, shout out to Matthew. We have the Niners winning this game by 3 points. All right, you have the Niners winning this game by 3 points. And, you go back, you look at the Eagles kicker, they missed an extra point. It would have been 23-20. But the Niners also missed an extra point. Eddie Pinheiro missed the extra point, so it should have been 24-20. That's what the score should have been. So, man, yeah, you were damn near close, bro. Your score prediction, man. That's amazing, too, to get the score prediction. I had us winning by 13, and I'm going to be honest. I think the Niners would have won by 13. Unfortunately, they lost a big part of their puzzle, you know what I'm saying, in this game. 49er Jeff, big victory Monday in the building. JP hella hard, 2800. Brocky, somehow I beat them Chargers like I'm Brocky. Jack Knox in the building. Hey, Wayne and Faithful, this is the most wonderful Monday ever. You damn right it is. It is. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely one. Why? Because it's a playoff win. It's not a regular win. It's a playoff win. You know what I'm saying? It's a playoff win. Felicia, good morning, faithful. Faithful to the Bay. Good to see you, Felicia. They said that I'm lagging out here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the internet if I'm lagging. Jerome in the house. What's poppin', Niner family? We doing this with guys off the clearance rack. Let's go. Let's go. It is, man. That's what we doing. Happy playoff victory Monday. I like that you put the word playoff in there. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. My man Pablo over Facebook says John had predicted a weird score, 23-22. Yeah, it was weird. I think I said 31-17. It's crazy. I did say, though, on that Friday show that if the Niners held this team under 20 points, which I said that they would, they'll win the game. So a lot of good takes this past weekend. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like it's crazy out there. You know what I mean? Super duper crazy. Jax with a spicy take. Yes, fake. Wanted Kyle going a few in this chat. Now they love Kyle. Stop it. Hey, man, look. People don't like Kyle when he makes mistakes. I get it. But you can't want the man gone. You can't. Because even in the mistakes that were made in this game, they weren't Kyle's fault. I'm sitting there looking like, Brock, why are you throwing that pass? Why are you throwing it there? The guy's wide open. I will say that I think Kyle Shanahan has his plays will work if they're executed properly. I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? What's going on, fam? In the house, what's up? Let's go. It's good to see you guys. Nigel, another moderator to the chat. Hey, chat, Victory Monday. Let's effing go. And we'll get to some more for sure. We got another super chat, so let's get to that real quickly. Super chat. Jack Knox. Y'all, we going to the Super Bowl. Remember, Miss Jack said, period. But first, just know we're finna kick the Seahawks. Okay? Last but not least, I'm wonderful. What the hell? I'm wonderful, and don't forget. All right, so Jax wants everybody to know that she's wonderful, and don't forget, Jax, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. We are going to kick the Seattle Seahawks. I can tell you that right now. That is about to go down. I can feel, and you know why? I can feel it. I can feel it. That Week 18 game, I don't really believe that the Niners, really brought anything to the table in that game. I just don't feel it. I don't believe that they did. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't. Good morning, Breezy. Tanisha in the building. Breezy Punch. Victory Monday. D-Rob and Kendricks did their thing. Vegas is upset. So I don't understand Vegas. So y'all, I promise you, I turn 45 on Thursday. I'm going to try to understand Vegas just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to know, did Vegas lose a lot of money? Because I think everybody was betting on the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'll ask John. John's more inept with that stuff. But you could tell me, sis. You know what I'm saying? Vish, I live in Connecticut. Thought about going to the game in Philly, but I didn't want to get assaulted by Eagle fans. Well, I live in Connecticut, too. The only reason why I didn't go to this game is because I just didn't. I couldn't take. It would have been hard for me to mentally separate, you know, what would have been thrown at me as far as the Eagles fans. I just didn't have the mental capacity. I think that's where I am. I'm still going through stuff, and I just didn't have the mental capacity. It was best that I didn't go to that game. You know what I'm saying? It was best that I didn't go to the game. So it is what it is. I'm happy that I didn't go to the game. I'm happy that I got to enjoy the game where I was. But you know, to each their own. Those that went out there, it is what it is. See, a lot of Philly fans were disgusting. Not all of them, but a lot of them were disgusting. You're gonna get that. Like, you're gonna get that 100%. And I believe that. Miss Peachy in the building. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Peach? You're gonna get that. You know, you're gonna get that. All right, I see a lot of members in the chat. I'm gonna get to it. I got one more super chat I gotta get to from Perk Dog. Yeah, rap that shit. Let's ride, Wayne. Bang, bang. What up, Perk Dog? Thank you for the super chat, dog. Listen, are we excited about this team? Because they are, whether they're hanging on, and I don't think they're hanging on by a thread. I think this team is just different. I think the team is young. I think the team is inexperienced, but I think the team is moldable, right? Like you can kind of make them do little things that you want them to do whenever you need them to do it. Not like no puppet, but like just to be able to be molded. And I think that's why this team is finding ways to win these games. Now we got the divisional round matchup coming up. It's going to, I believe the Niners will be playing on this upcoming Saturday, which is January 17th, if I'm not mistaken. Now the time is to be announced, to be determined, but I do believe that the game will be on Fox, if I'm not mistaken. If they get the early game, right? If they get the first game, probably Fox. Second game, probably Fox too. I don't know, but I think it's 4:30 or 8 were the two times that I saw. So we'll see what happens with that. And so stay tuned. We'll make sure we give you that news. I wanted to talk about Jauan Jennings and some things about Jauan Jennings and Kyle Shanahan. And this is interesting, all right? So we got some accolades for these two. Let's give them the air horn, baby. All right, Jauan Jennings. Here is what's dope about Jauan Jennings. Jauan Jennings is the first player in NFL history with a perfect 158.3 passer rating. He threw one pass. But he did this in multiple playoff games for the same team. So he's done this before with the Niners with that playoff, with that passer rating. 1-1. Christian McCaffrey touchdown, right? Christian McCaffrey got both of his touchdown throws in his career. Now, some interesting fun facts about Jauan Jennings. He was a 4-star dual threat quarterback recruit, ranked ahead. Check this out. Ranked ahead of Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Y'all not gonna believe that. Now, these are the facts. I searched the facts. We get the facts. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. This dude was a 4-star quarterback recruit going into Tennessee, ranked ahead of Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Can we talk about that throw? Because that throw was purty. That throw was on the move. And what a trick play by Kyle Shanahan. We talk about Kyle Shanahan just not being in his bag. And Kyle Shanahan definitely was in his bag. You know what I'm saying? Definitely in his bag. Shout out to Nigel Crane, 49ers moderator to the channel, just gifted a membership. And if you were gifted, oh, there it is. My boy Notorious G-A-V, Notorious. Hey, what's good? Welcome to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. And thank you for thanking Nigel. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But now when you go back and you look at Kyle Shanahan, I think we were all waiting for a Shanna trick, right? And you go back to week 18. He was trying things in that game. The execution was piss poor. This game, he did like a double jet reverse sweep, whatever, boom, hand it off to one guy, one receiver, hand it off to the other receiver. I'm like, no, Jauan can't run this. You had to know that Jauan was going to throw the ball. He looked like he was going to run it, though. And boom, they left Christian McCaffrey wide open. Why? Because of the motions pre-snap. For those that complain about Kyle Shanahan and his motions, please stop. They are there for a reason. And I believe Dan Orlovsky put out a video just showing you like that play was set up 2 plays prior to that play. You know what I'm saying? That's what Kyle does. It's like he's predetermined. He's trying the defense out. You know what I'm saying? And then he hits you with the same look, same formation, but changes up one little thing to get the defense to react a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Christian McCaffrey was left wide open by himself on that touchdown. And what an amazing catch. Like, nobody's talking too much about the catch. Do you know how difficult that catch was? That catch was difficult. I mean, super difficult. You know what I'm saying? Super difficult. All right, so shout out to that play, Kyle Shanahan dialing it up. Speaking of Kyle Shanahan has now passed his father, Mike Shanahan, in career playoff wins. And for those that, say they want Kyle Shanahan gone and fired or whatever, that's your prerogative. But check this out. Here's who he's tied with: John Madden, Tony Dungy, Paul Brown, Jimmy Johnson, and Vince Lombardi. He's tied with John Madden, Tony Dungy, Paul Brown, Jimmy Johnson, and Vince Lombardi on the all-time playoff wins list. Another round of applause for our coach. And he's doing it, like y'all said earlier on the show, he's doing it with backups. Like backup to the backups. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You know? That's just crazy. So I like for me, like that I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's not going anywhere. I'm hoping that they're the tenured coach. And I don't even dislike John Lynch. We're talking about a guy that was given orders this season. Oh, you can't spend money. Really? Okay. And he found these players. We talk about DeMarcus Robinson, who had an amazing game. He signed in free agency a dude that was going to be suspended for what, 4 games? How many games was DeMarcus Robinson suspended for, guys? 4 games, if I'm not mistaken? 4? Dang. 4 games? Shout out to Cali Girl 4979. Thank you for becoming a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. Welcome. All right, welcome to the Breezy Bunch crew. And I'm just like, yo, this dude be, you know, we signed different types of players this year. We even traded for different types of players. Remember, y'all, we traded for Sky Moore. We traded for Brian Robinson Jr. We traded for guys that were just like, we traded for Keon White. Keon White has I believe the highest pressure rate for the San Francisco 49ers since he's been here, yo. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Oh, don't bother me. I got to put this up. What up, Eddie G and the B-Dogs? This is another fun fact. Jauan Jennings having the same amount of playoff TDs as Herbert is wicked. He has the same amount of playoff passing touchdowns as Justin Herbert. If I'm Kyle Shanahan and I'm John Lynch, let me ask y'all this question. Are we bringing Jauan Jennings back? Let me know. Are we bringing back Jauan Jennings? Put it in the chat while I read this super chat. Jorge, what up, baby? Says, I think Kyle decided to trust his players. Now that, my friend, that is it. That is the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan now. That's the difference. That's the difference. I got it. Now listen, I know people like, oh, he's not. I don't care. Post what I want. Agency 323. I got to tell you this, right? So you just asked me, did I just do a Duran Duran remix of Notorious with a little beatbox mixed in? I did, and there's reasons for it. Okay, so Duran Duran, one of my favorite rock groups of all time. Right now, I'm gonna be honest. I just watched or finished, or I'm almost finished with the series Snowfall. I don't know if you guys are into that stuff, but I'm heavily into the drugs game with the movies. Hold up, rewind. I don't want to be kicked off of YouTube. I'm heavy into those type of films, right? Documentaries, films. I was born in the 80s. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was born right in the heart era of this stuff, right? Anyway, Snowfall. So on one episode, they was playing that joint. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Duran Duran. But in my head, I was singing the Biggie Smalls version on Biggie's third album that was released, Notorious. No. So that's why you get the beatbox and the hip hop version. I got a story for everything. But I did hear the Duran Duran version on the Snowfall series, and I'm like, oh, that's where Puff Daddy got it from. Y'all might not like Puffy, but I can tell you right now, Puff Daddy, that dude got he know music, because he took a Duran Duran song and made it into a hip hop classic, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So it is what it is. But look, I agree with this. I think that's what we're starting to get from Kyle Shanahan. But I don't even think it's about him trusting his players, Jorge. I think Kyle Shanahan I think he fully trusts Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy. That's what I'm getting to. Let's talk about Fred Warner, some Fred Warner updates and news and stuff like that. And I asked y'all if y'all wanted to bring back Jauan Jennings, and I'm getting a lot of hell yeahs and yes sirs and yes, bring him back. This is CJ Gray. Bring back JJ is a no-brainer after freeing up the BA money, but we still need a reliable wide receiver that can get open outside the scheme. Okay, I like this comment, right? Because he's right. One thing I like about CJ Gray is he knows what the fuck he's talking about, right? He's right. Jauan Jennings struggled in creating separation. I think that it's not about him getting open. It's about him creating separation in man coverage. So that's why CJ Gray wrote outside the scheme. You get what I'm saying? And so I didn't want to agree with this. I didn't want to agree with this at first because I like Jauan Jennings. I like his physicality. I like him being a threat in the red zone. I think that the Niners won't pay him Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk money, but they will pay him according to what they know he's able to do, and they'll put a lot of incentives in his contract to where he can earn more in his contract. And if I'm Jauan Jennings, I play for that. Wherever I go, I'm going to play for that. I'll play for a nice base, but I'm going to play to where I know I can earn factors up. And I think he'll get that with the Niners. He could throw a touchdown pass, you know what I'm saying? When he's healthy, like he's a problem on the football field. He's probably, when he's healthy, he's the best run blocking wide receiver we have. I'm sorry. He just is. And the question, the issue with Jauan is how healthy will he be continuing, like moving forward? And I think that's where the Niners are gonna, start to factor stuff in. Now he's not great at creating separation, especially in man coverage. I think it depends on though who the DB is, because he was getting locked up a little bit. We saw a couple of passes yesterday that he normally would catch, and he just didn't get his hands on the ball properly to bring it in man coverage because the separation wasn't generated the way that we felt like it should have been. You know what I mean? I don't know how much they're gonna pay him. I hope the Niners don't freaking do him a disservice. I hope they offer him a nice contract to where it can be incentive based, to where he can earn factors to earn a lot more money. That's what I'm hoping for. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Y'all crazy. I'm not gonna read these chat messages. Ty, what's going on, fam? But I love what I saw from the 49ers. And I hope that they do bring back Jauan Jennings. They got D-Rob, I think, for another year. Bring back Jauan Jennings. I feel like they'll free up the Brandon Ayuk situation. That could probably tie into other positions and free agent money, depending on who they bring. I still think we need a deep threat down the football field. And I don't know if I could count on Ricky Pearsall. And I don't even know if he's that guy that I'm talking about. Like, if there is a free agent wide receiver out there, not a big name guy, I can still live. I think the Niners can find ways to get non-big name guys, like go get an Alec Pierce from the Indianapolis Colts. He'll be a free agent. I would pay for him. I would do that and without a heartbeat. 'Cause now you got a guy that can move the ball, like he can move down the football field, run those fly routes, get down the football field, catch contested passes when he's healthy as well. So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But Jauan Jennings was another person that this fan base wanted off this team at one point this year. Man, isn't it cool how everything is coming in full circle? You know what I'm saying? Isn't it cool? So. It's going to be crazy moving forward. But again, Seattle up next. Pack your bags. We going out to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to go down. Injury report. Got to talk about George Kittle. Let me ask this question. How much will this affect the 49ers against the Seahawks? How much would George Kittle's injury affect the 49ers against the Seahawks? They no longer have that Seahawks thrasher. George Kittle won't be available. It might hurt the Niners in the run game a little bit. It's definitely going to hurt them in the passing game. Unfortunately, his Achilles was torn on a play where, he caught the pass and it was good coverage and he was fighting to get the extra yards and stay up on his football feet and pop, the Achilles goes pop. And now he's going to be out for the remainder of this season and probably the majority of next season, right? Like that's where it's going to hurt the San Francisco 49ers going into next year. But I like some of the stuff that we see out here. What's going on, Red Jet Show? Like, sub, and share. I like that. Share. Bump that. Definitely share. But here's what I like. Tonja's time. And Tonja's had 3 targets last night, 1 reception, 14 yards, so he's the first down. It's time to feature Tonjas, right? Notorious GIV. I think Tonjas can pick up the slack in the passing game. I don't know if it all depends on how Seattle defends the tight end, how much they're going to respect it. But I think without George Kittle, this may help the 49ers because they can roll out there with these 2 tight end sets, Luke Farrell, and they won't defend it the way that they would necessarily add an extra defender on George Kittle opposed to manning up on him or whatever like that. So this might help the Niners in a situation where Tonjas might just be the guy underneath catching the routes to check down the screens, things like that. We've seen that before. So this could be a really big game for Tonjas, in my opinion. The Niners got to use him. This is what it is. This is the Tonjas we need. The Tonjas versus the Bears, like that. And let's be clear, if I'm not mistaken, did Jake Tonjas had 5 touchdowns on the season, correct? Right? Let me look up the 49ers stats. I want to make sure that I am 100% on point with my stats and what I'm saying. And if I'm not mistaken, Jake Tonjas, is this playoffs? This postseason, regular season. I believe Jake Tonjas had 5 touchdowns on this year. So let me just look. All right, so Jennings had 9, Kittle had 7, McCaffrey had 7, Tonjas had 5. There you go. Luke Farrell had 2. So where do you use him? You could use Tonjas definitely to move the football field, like to move the ball down the football field. And you got to figure it out. Shout out to Ty. This is the key, right? Juice is the key. Juice is the key because he won't be a tight end, but the way he can line up, the way he can do certain things, boom, 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 you got Kyle Juszczyk out there, right? So the Niners have ways that they can force that Seattle's defense to back up a little bit off the pressure. You know what I'm saying? I still think Luke Farrell's a better run blocker, but we'll see how they utilize him because if the Niners get into the red zone, that's where these tight ends, Farrell, both of his TDs, red zone. Jake Tonjas TDs, except for I think most of them were in the red zone. So if I'm not mistaken, like that's where you utilize these guys. They're probably going to call up freaking Braden Willis. He'll probably get elevated one more time. So we'll see what happens. But George Kittle being out for the season sucks. I'm not going to lie because I want the 49ers to win the Super Bowl this year. And it just sucks that there'll be no Kittle, no Nick Bosa. And let's talk about Fred Warner. I said I wanted to talk about Fred. Fred Warner did an interview where he said he is ready, but he's got to wait for the team to check off cross all the T's and dot all the I's. He's waiting. So it's really on the team to make that decision to bring him off the IR and things like that. But he said he's ready. He said he's cleared, he's ready, but he's waiting for everything to check out. I don't think we're going to see Fred Warner this week. I know he's working out. He's going through the drills. You see him on social media right now, just doing all these crazy drills. Fred is letting everybody know that he is ready to go, like he's ready to play. As much as I need Fred Warner to play in this game, I don't know if this is going to be the week that the Niners activate him. Kyle Shanahan kind of already made it clear that he wasn't going to. So will we get the return of Fred Warner in a divisional round? Probably, more than likely not. In the NFC Championship game, now we cooking, baby. Now we cooking. So that might be the target date where Kyle Shanahan allows Fred Warner to return. His window has not been opened. And so that is the key, right? He is not playing on that Seattle's turf. He will play if he went, and it's crazy because it's either Seattle's turf or the Rams' turf, right? I mean, or Chicago's grass. We don't know who's going to win, right? At this point, all we need to know is I'd rather him playing on grass than him playing on some turf. Unfortunately, the Niners won't be returning home until the Super Bowl, so we might not even see him until the Super Bowl. All right, so that's going to be crazy. But let's talk about this game. Jair Brown did leave the game with a hamstring injury, did not return. You know what's crazy when I get into the grades? Jair Brown had the highest defensive grade. Bro. And I thought the defense played so much better when he wasn't in the game. That's just me. That's just what I saw. That's just what I saw. But the Niners won 23-19 due to a complete game of execution. This team had one penalty that counted for them in this whole game. One penalty, 15 yards, one penalty. That's it. You talk about a team. I said you in a game where you got the NFL official that usually in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles, 8-1, 3-6. Now it's what, 4-7, right? And 8-2. Alan Eck. What did we do? We took the refs out of the game. When I make these videos for you, these short videos, I'm not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I said that the refs don't matter. So if they don't matter, then don't include them on finding a way to penalize your team. And I think the Niners did just that, right? They did just that. They took the refs out of the game. You got to give the Niners credit. They were hella disciplined when it came to not making those kind of mistakes. Hella discipline when it came to getting flags. Hella discipline, in my opinion. So you got to give the Niners some credit on that note. But offensively, we'll start there because I want to end on the defense because the defense is going to get the bonus. Like the defense was, the defense was notorious, Duran style. Offensively, I thought the Niners' game plan was to run the ball. They were going to try. They were going to do their best. But they knew Philly was coming out to take away the run. Okay? They knew Philly was coming out to take away the run. The Niners' run game the past couple of weeks against these top 10 defenses has struggled. All right. 25 carries, 75 yards, no touches for Brian Robinson Jr. This was a Christian McCaffrey game. This dude, the team itself only averaged 3 yards per carry because you had a couple of runs from Brock Purdy. The Niners couldn't run the ball. They just couldn't run the ball. The running wasn't in the game, but they found other ways by creating explosive plays down the football field. The Niners won this game off of explosive plays. That the plays that go, those plays. Kyle Shanahan did everything that he needed to do. And here is the key to the Niners offense that I definitely needed to see a better output from the Niners offense. The key was what we call third down. Now, last week, the Niners were terrible on third down. This week, the Niners were 6 for 11, 55% on third down. Their season, they led the season at 48.9%, but they were 55% on third down. They were 6 for 11. That Niners team was converting during us. And the first they started the game off like 0 for 2 on third downs, or maybe even 0 for 3 on third down. It was really bad. Like their first touchdown, they didn't have any third down, so that don't count. But after that, they were just punting ball. I'm like, what is going on? But they finished the game 6 for 11 on third down. And they also finished the game 2 for 3 in the red zone. All right, so 66% in the red zone, they were able to put up touchdowns on this team, on this defense. All right, so 67%, however you want to look at it. The Niners offense found ways to make explosive plays, and you got to credit that to Brock Purdy, and you got to credit that to Jauan Jennings, because on the ground, the Niners offense was stagnant, but because Kyle Shanahan still stuck to the run, it still allowed that Phillies secondary to get tricked a little bit so that Brock can pull the trigger. Now, I thought Brock had a decent game. I'm not going to sit here and say Brock was trash. Brock was bad. No, Brock made some mistakes. But this is the first time in my life I've seen Brock's mistakes not haunt the 49ers, not come back to bite him in the behind. 2 interceptions. I don't think the Niners gave up any points off those interceptions. So, luckily, his defense stepped up, and that's what we're going to talk about. But Brock Purdy played efficient enough. He was 18 for 31, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Passer rating was at 80.3, so it wasn't that great. But he had the bomb at the beginning of the game to Demarcus Robinson for 61 yards. And there were several of those explosive plays from Brock to his receivers, right? His pass catchers. So from that is what allowed this offense to kind of like stay afloat. We're talking about an offense that only possessed the ball, I think, for 24 minutes and 21 seconds. Out of 60 minutes, 24 minutes and 21 seconds. This is the defense was on the field for 35 minutes and 39 seconds. You got to give the offense credit for finding a way to win, and when it mattered the most, I think is what kind of stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? Now I see some of the comments out there say Brock was trying to give the game away. I don't know if he was trying to give the game away, fam, but it was more like, I don't even think he saw what we saw out there on the football field. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. But it is what it is. CJ Gray, Brock made one real bad mistake, and the other pick, the wind got it. Right, the wind definitely affects some of his throws in this game. It kind of sailed the ball on him a little bit. He was trying one of those layered throws, and the wind just wasn't having it. Yeah, and you saw that. You saw Jalen Hurts layered throws, and the wind sucked. You saw us miss an extra point. You saw them miss an extra point. Like, that win was crucial in Philly. That win was crucial. So whenever we were going into the win, that's when we saw a lot of that stuff. 49er Media, hey, Breezy, to me, Brock had a Jimmy G-like game. Yeah, a Jimmy G game that would win. I think this is the most fairest comment I've ever seen in my entire life. I think that's what it was. It wasn't efficient, but it was enough. And he made so here's the thing about Brock. He made plays when he needed to. Like the drive to get the touchdown at the end of the game to give the team the lead was Brock. Like, you got to give Brock some credit. I think that was one of the first downs Jake Ton just ended up getting, like, to help that drive. So I thought Brock played good enough for his team to win the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see, can Brock be better? Absolutely. Does he need to be better? Motherfucking right he does. I think Brock Purdy needs to be the best person on the football field. He's got to stop turning the damn ball over. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, Brock was amazing. Nah, stop turning the ball over, Brock. God dang, you play against a different team. They're going to try to capitalize off of that. Luckily, defense, which is what we're going to talk about right now. Now, defense, in my opinion, was one of the greatest showcases that we've seen all season from this defense. And here's why. You're talking about a defense that had 8 missed tackles in this game. You're talking about a defense that's missing a couple of all-pro players. Just a couple. A couple is enough, A couple of all-pro players. And you're on your, 4th and 5th string, linebackers. Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow. were probably two of the best defenders we saw on the football field. My third was Marquise Siegel. I don't care what nobody says. I thought Marquise Siegel was the best safety on the football field all game long. The moment he entered the game, he was the best guy. But I want to talk about the linebackers because the linebackers is the position where I feel like the Niners, if they continue to go this route with these vets, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. Why? Because the veterans bring experience. And you saw Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks didn't have any missed tackles in this game. Go figure, right? Zero missed tackles in this game. My boy Garrett Wallow had a couple, but I still thought he was out there balling. He was flying to the ball, blah, 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 right? 8 missed tackles. None from my boy Eric Kendricks, who I had a question mark. I didn't think he was going to play as great as he did. I'm not going to lie. But Eric Kendricks, in my opinion, I thought Eric Kendricks balled out. He finished this game and balled the freak out. Now, as far as the pressures, the Niners tried to generate pressures. They had 10 pressures in this game, 9 hurries, and then apparently the 1 sack from C.J. West. Well, where did the sack come from? Let's see. Oh, Keon White, the guy with the pressure. Yeah, he chased him down and got the sack. So that's what you get. You get when you and that is the key to Saleh's defense. How competent is the play of the linebackers? Because I didn't think the defensive front was great. Did you? I didn't think the defensive front was great. I just didn't. They were all right, but they weren't great. Only 10 pressures in this game. You tried to keep Jalen Hurts at bay. You had to watch out for the zone read. They only ran that a couple times, I believe. But you got 4 pressures from Keon White. You got 3 pressures from Yetur. You got 1 pressure from West, Okawano, and Huff. That's it. Those are your pressures. Those were your pressures. Niners, they didn't blitz, right? No. It was a straight. I mean, they did do the 0 blitz, but a couple of times. But no pressures. You didn't get any pressures from any of those other players other than the players that I just named. And I think it was by design, though. I think Jalen Hurts, you didn't want to overpressure him, and then he take off in the passing lane, and then next thing you know, he's gashing you up the middle for 15, 20, 25 yards. So they did what they needed to do. But the key to Robert Saleh's defense last night were his linebackers. I want to talk about Marquise Siegel, guys. I've been asking for Marquise Siegel to play at safety for the past several weeks. I just did. I wanted him to play at safety for the past several weeks. You know what I'm saying? And I see a question out there, and I'll get to that. John Swanson, did they run at Collins? Yes. Let's see. Alfred Collins, he played 31 snaps in this game. He had 2 tackles. 1 was assisted, but other than that, that's all he did. He wasn't great. He wasn't great in my opinion in this game. As far as, and I'll get to grades in a second, but he wasn't. He was bottom of the pack, number 16 out of 19. So it wasn't great, but they did run at him for sure. You know what I'm saying? 49er Media, Breezy, do you want the 49ers to claim Darrell Taylor? He was waived by the Texans, but just came off of IR, and he's healthy. Hey, man, there's a bunch of players that the Niners could claim, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking about the defensive end. The Niners could use some more pass rushing help, and he's not going to call. I mean, you could get him off of waivers. I say go for it. I don't know where we are in the waiver wire number, but there's only a few more teams left in the playoffs, so I say go for it. But there's other guys where their practice squad contracts have expired. You can get DeMarcus Walker, Jason Pierre-Paul. You can add to this team. I think the Niners need to continue to add edge rushing to this team, yo. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know why, but if they have the money and they can add, another piece or two, I say go for it. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't mind this kid, but he is coming off of IR. I don't know how you guys feel about signing a player coming off of IR. I don't know, because I don't know. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So that's how I look at it. If we're number 1 in the waiver order, go for it, But there's some guys that they can sign. So I would like to kind of see them get some extra pressure going into this next game because the Niners are going to have to bring it, right? They're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to stop the run. They're going to have to do all those things against the Seattle Seahawks. They got to figure out how to, set that edge and play it right. And the Niners defense and I'm trying to tell you, I think that the San Francisco 49ers with Eric Kendricks, Garrett Wallow out there, just because of their experience, I felt like the edge was better. Like the edge was set by the edge rushers. They were able to play downhill, attack. You saw a lot of tackles. Go figure that Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow and I think Marquise Siegel were your top 3 tacklers in this game. Top 3. What did I like about Siegel, though? So his play, his speed, his ability to diagnose a play, especially in the run game. He's a lot faster, a lot quicker to get to that rush, right? And then he lays a solid, impactful hit. This dude dinged up Saquon Barkley to where Barkley just wasn't the same after he got hit by Marquise Siegel, right? So I really did I thought that flag that they called was bull crap. That's the flag that we saw on the defense, right? That bull crap flag on Jalen Hurts. We remember that, right? That was the one bull crap call. We were just like, bro, this dude he gave himself up too late. And Siegel, and I forgot who the other person was with Siegel, they collided to one another. They didn't even hit Jalen Hurts. But that's the flag that they called at the game. You know what I mean? So I personally think that, that's where the Niners got better. They got better in the secondary, and they got better in that middle spot with their linebackers. And Tatum Bethune, as much as I like him, wasn't good. He just wasn't good. And I know he's injured, but he wasn't as good as Eric Kendricks. And I think he's still developing. So I think that's a fair assessment to say. Tatum Bethune, still developing, wasn't great at the end of the day, but he did fill the gap. I thought he was pretty good against the run game when they ran at him. When he ran away from him is where you saw a lot of his, deficiencies. So I think the Niners got better at linebacker, and I think that is going to make the difference going into Seattle. Because now they got to play against a 2 running back monster. They don't have to play. It's not like they got to just stop Jonathan Taylor or they got to just stop Saquon Barkley. They got to just stop one guy. Now they got to come in here, and now they got to go into Seattle, and they got to stop Kenneth Walker III, and they got to stop Zach Charbonnet. It makes it a little bit different. You know what I mean? So we're going to see how that pans up. All right, put some questions in the chat. Let's get to your questions, and I'm going to go, what was your most memorable moment from the game? Defense, to me, was the key. Offense did what they needed to survive, right? But most memorable moment from this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious to know what you guys saw out there. I don't think they activate Nick Martin, Niner faithful. I don't think he's ready. And I don't think they chance that. You know what I'm saying? All right, Red Jet Shell says just D-Rob, period. I mean, not just because of the 61-yard catch. He was all over the football field, and he was doing the damn thing. He was doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Notorious GAV, Juice trucking the safety. Here's what I liked about that play, right? I like that Juice made the first person miss and then said, I'm not going to make the second person miss. I'm going to enforce my will on the second person. I loved it. That was beautiful. Niner faithful, JJ touchdown pass. That trickery was so beautiful. Wasn't it? I like the catch more than the pass because not too many wide receivers coming down with that catch. You know what I'm saying? I don't think too many wide receivers is coming down with that catch. That's just me personally. That catch was beautiful. The Robinson TD set the tone. Yes. The Upton, Matt Moses, I thought people forgot about this. This was early in the game. The Upton Stout PBU. This was the first time he had that type of coverage to where he was able to get the hand on the ball for the PBU and not get called pass interference. First time. It took 19 weeks for him to not get a pass interference call. Usually that's a PI. Usually. But that time, it wasn't. That was a great PBU. But then he missed a big tackle. Well, I guess he didn't miss a tackle in this game. It looked like he missed a tackle in this game, in my opinion. But that 4th-and-1 breakup, yeah, and it should have been an interception, but he was just trying to get the PBU. He was just getting the final stop by Kendricks, the PBU, right? The pass deflection. Eric Kendricks and coverage. Drops back, gets the hand up, deflect, end the game. 43 seconds left. Niners get the dub. Yeah, man. Eric Kendricks, player of the game for me, like hands down. Like I just thought Kendricks was on a whole nother level, and I hope that we get him back on a whole nother level this time. You know what I'm saying? Niner faithful. Also, Tom Brady's reaction on that trick play. I don't even remember his reaction. I was so yelling at the trick play. What was his reaction like? What's going on, Collie? Siegel over Jair Brown, 100,000%. Vish, the D-Rob, 61 yard. It was more like he caught the ball and just made a bunch of people miss. I don't think we had that. We saw a yak like that in a very long time. I think we've been missing that part of our game. Silent, the Marquis Siegel one-on-one open field tackle on Devontae Smith. Yes. Kylie backs that up. I'm with that. Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. Because that to me, that's why I thought they would have credited Upton Stout on the missed tackle when he had the one-on-one open field tackle against Saquon Barkley. Like Saquon Barkley, a different monster, man. I don't give a what nobody says. That cat was making people miss all kinds of stuff. And the way he just did Upton Stout, I was like, whoops. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady's a great commentator. He doesn't talk as much as others through the game. Here's what I don't like about Tom Brady. This motherfucker know the play before the play even happened. I'd be like, dude, shut the front door, bro. Like, let it develop. But he already know it. It's like, that's a gift. That's a gift. Tony Romo kind of was like that when football was played in Tony Romo's era. That's why a lot of quarterbacks don't be on Brady level. He played in every era. You know what I'm saying? That dude is different. Oh, Sirianni having a meltdown on Brown. Was Brown having the melt? Why did we know why Brown was cursing out Nick Sirianni? Do we know what happened on that? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I don't know what was said. All I know is I thought Brown was about to hit that cat with the 2-piece and the uppercut. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. But Big Dom, what Big Dom gonna do? Does Big Dom know he could get hit in the chin and get knocked the freak out? I don't think he really understand that. He just big. Bruh, I done seen the biggest niggas in the yard get broke. Real talk. All you gotta do is hit him in the chin. That cat not gonna know what hit him. And boom, that weight gonna come crashing down. That's just me. Big Daddy Niners Breezy. We gonna hit the Seagulls hard Sunday. They haven't seen this defense. It's funny that you said that. Because that's what makes this defense different, right? They haven't seen this defense. Like, it's funny that you said that because literally they've only seen Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow play one game. One game of that. That's it. That's all they got. And the difference is we know their defense, so we know how to counter it. The question is, how will Kyle Shanahan do that without my man George Kittle? Boat says delay a game. Brown wasn't hustling. So it didn't cause the delay game, but it almost caused the delay. Okay, so Sirianni had a valid. So Sirianni was valid. Sirianni was valid. I got it. I thought it was because A.J. Brown kept dropping the damn ball. That's what I thought. I'm with 49ers Eddie. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's just me, but that makes perfect sense. All right, let's get to some of these grades, man. Most memorable moment. Grade report. These are PFF grades. I don't make these grades. We're going to do our own overall team grade at the end of going through these grades. Congratulations to DeMarcus Robinson with the highest PFF grade this week, 89.5. Both offensively and defensively. Kyle Juszczyk, 81. Jake Brendel made the top 5 with a 70. McKivitt, 69.9. Trent Williams, 65.9. Top defensive grades, Jair Brown, 78.9. Marquis Siegel, 73.1. Renardo Green, he was a lockdown corner, 71.5. Eric Kendrick, 68.3. Jason Pinnock, 65.4. Those are your top 5 offensive and defensive PFF grades. And I would say that those grades are pretty valid. Now, we won the game. We didn't look as superb as we should have looked in the game. I want to know, what was your overall grade from this game? We won, But what was your overall grade from this game? Trent Williams definitely will play on Saturday. He's as good. He's good to go, as they say. What was your overall grade for this team? Me personally, I think this team was in the low B's, so B minus to maybe a B for me. I thought offensively they played well enough. Had they not had those turnovers and been able to get at least 3 points off of that, I would have probably been a high B plus. But I thought the defense is what kind of like saved the day in this game. Special teams was just special teams, nothing special. Speaking of special teams, we got to have a conversation. We're gonna end the show with a conversation on Sky Moore. I can tell you that right now, because he's driving me nuts. I think he's bored. That's what I get. Let's start with Red Jet Shell. She says, honestly, my grade would be B plus to a C. Damn, you didn't even go B minus. You didn't even go C plus. You said B plus to C, unless you're talking about the different teams. Could be. Overall, from Grizz, B minus. Will Fred Warner play on Saturday? Absolutely not. He's not playing on Saturday. Miss Peachy, B. Vish, B plus from Howdy. Filthy Casual, B plus. Shout out to Wallow, played amazing. 11 tackles, 2 missed tackles, but he did play amazing. Niners Nation broke it down. C plus on the offense, B minus on the defense. Overall, B minus. That's exactly how I had a grade. I felt like we were doing Niners Nation and I were doing our grades during the watch party. Yo, Niners Nation, we went 5-0 in our picks, bro. Bruh. 5-0 in our picks. We got one more game to go. I got the Texans winning it, dog. I feel like the Steelers gonna win now, just the way football is and the nostalgic of football. You know what I'm saying? The nostalgia of football. I feel like the Steelers are gonna win, but I think the Texans should win. But we had all the same picks. Drew Morales says an A. Wow. Overall, interesting. B plus from Ann. All right. I can take it. I can dig it. CJ Gray was there. He was there in living color. Solid B. Val with a B. Solid B. I like the B's. Defense, A minus. Offense, C plus. Hey, add them two together and give me an overall grade. C plus from Jerome. I think C plus to the B minus is pretty fair. You know, Chrissy with a B plus. I think that's pretty fair. A plus, this playoffs. And wait a minute. How are we not talking about this? Doesn't the statistic show that Kyle Shanahan typically loses when trailing in the fourth quarter? Or is it trailing in the fourth quarter by a certain amount of points? Which one is it? It could be both. But yo, Boats is right. I don't know about the A plus, but damn, in the playoffs, we came back after trailing in the fourth on the road with no kiddo and got the dub. You know what, Boats? You get the bell for that one. Damn, Boats, always you come in. Now my anxiety grade, A plus. I didn't know you were going to watch the game. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think you were going to watch. You said you were going to watch the game, you know? Still got more grades to go. B minus, B plus, C plus from. See, Dion is the hardest grader out there. You know, if it's a C plus, you got a C plus from Dion, and you Gucci. You know what I'm saying? You still good. You're real good. All right. So we got a question from Brandon, and I want to talk about Sky Moore. So don't let me forget that. We got about 3 minutes. Brandon Miller says, "Why would Fred make that post if he ain't playing?" All right. So I don't know. Not Fred Warner. I don't know why Fred made that post, but I think he wanted to put on blast that he ready. That's it. Are you talking about the video of him working out, doing the drills? I think he just wants to let everybody know when the Niners are ready, he coming. It's a warning. That's my thing. That's how I'm interpreting it. It's a warning. It's a warning to the league. And it's a Fred warning. Sound the alarm. It's a Fred warning. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a Fred freaking warning. And I loved it. I loved it, you know. And the reason why I loved it was because, you know, Fred is out here doing his thing. But he, in an interview, said he's waiting. He's waiting for the team. He's waiting for the T's to get crossed and the I's to get dotted. So at the end of the day, that's what we waiting on. You know what I'm saying? And we're good. We're going to wait. You know what I'm saying? We're going to wait. For Fred Warner. All right, let's talk about Sky Moore really quickly. I got about 1 minute. Boom. Sky Moore. 30 seconds on Sky Moore. If Sky Moore fair catches the ball within the first 5 yards of a punt return ever again, he has to be sat down. I don't understand. I don't care if the ball bounced onto the 1 yard line. I don't care. But don't fair catch the ball at the 4 yard line. Love Sky Moore. Love what he's been doing for this team. But his bonehead mistakes could cost the team. That ball could have bounced, went to the end zone. They would have got it at the 20. Or it could have bounced to the 1. Whatever. I think Sky Moore has to be better because against a different team, that little mistake could have haunted the team. I'll leave it at that. That little mistake could have haunted the team. So not super down on Sky Moore, but Sky Moore has to be better when it comes to fielding that ball. I understand that he is probably bored. I get it. The way they kicking it to him is different. He's not able to get off the way he wants. He's not getting the offensive reps he needs. Don't take that pride. Just for my words to Sky Moore, do your job well. Like, do it correctly. You know what I'm saying? Do it well. Do it correctly. Sky Moore, all right? Love him. Love the Niners acquisitions. Love where this team is going. I love you guys the most. And we headed to Seattle to do what we do best. Bust they ass. Let's go. Niner faithful, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Wayne Breezie Show. Shout out to all the members of the Breezie Bunch crew. You guys are the real ones, man. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Love all my subscribers. Love those that haven't subscribed yet and that's watching the show trying to figure out if they should subscribe. Tell you what, click that button. Subscribe. We'll be back this week with more 49ers content. Till then, keep it faithful to the Bay. I'm out. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.